What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my Iron Man helmet tutorial series, where I show you how to design, how to print, how to build, and in this video, how to motorize your own Iron Man helmet. Without further ado, let's get right into the video.
What's up, everybody? We're back with part 5 of my Iron Man helmet tutorial series, and in this video you're going to go over how to do the servos and wiring of the helmet. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing you'll probably notice is that I have 2 helmets on display here right now, and that's because I actually had to redesign the helmet. I can go over this more detail if you guys want, and I probably will actually in this video. But the gist of it is that this helmet kind of melted right here, and it was also impossible to get the servos in. So as you can see, the servos, you can't fit a screwdriver right there. When you try to attach it from like the side, you have to screw in the servos from the side, but you can't fit a screwdriver right there. So my solution was to detach the servo pieces and then print this right here, which will eventually have this. So basically you attach the servo first, and then you place this in here, and once the servo attached, you then screw it to the faceplate, and then boom, you don't have the screwdriver problem anymore. But yeah, and another thing I also added was these links right here, so you don't actually have to weld the helmet. They just go in and out right there. I can show that in more detail later. But yeah, that's the gist of it. I'll include the design in the description, and yeah, let's get into it. So as I was saying before, we have little connectors right here now within the helmet, and they just close in on each other like so, and there's no need for welding. You can weld if you need some extra support, but you don't need to do that if you don't want to now. So now what we're going to do is focus on the faceplate for the first part of the video, which is the rounded piece of the servo mount. So we can get these out of the way, and we can focus on getting the servo onto here. But first, we need to do code.
Alright, we're going to start by taking a look at just the code. I'm not going to be able to explain it very well, but this is the code. This is an Arduino IDE because we will be using an Arduino for this, along with servos. So basically the gist of the code, from what I understand, is that you include the servo like function or whatever it is that Arduino IDE has, and then you create variables in the class servo 1 and servo 2. And then after that, you kind of initiate servo pin 1 to equal pin 9, which is just a variable, so you can call it later. Basically, we're going to be attaching the servos to pin 9 and 10, and in here we can just call it servo pin 1, servo pin 2. Now it gets a little tricky, which I had to do a lot of research to figure this stuff out, because nowhere there was no guide on this. I kind of had to write this code myself, and yeah. So basically, you start off with void setup, which is going to do your initial, every time you turn it on, it goes to this position no matter where it is. So what that does is it takes servo pin 1 and it attaches it to servo pin 1. Sorry, it attaches servo 1 to servo pin 1, which is kind of just setting it up, and then it writes 40. That makes the servo go to position 40. After that, it goes to servo pin 2, attaches that to servo 2, and then writes 0. After that, there's a delay, and then it moves on to the loop. This is what we've been looping through. This is how the helmet goes up and down, and it basically just does servo write 40 to double check that this is in the right position, servo 2 write 0 to make sure it's in its home position. Then it waits, like, I think this is a second, 1000, whatever delay is a second. And then it goes to position 165 and 130. And these two numbers, 165, 130, 0, and 40, you can mess around with these. Like, it's not an exact science. You can change these however you want, and then, yeah, just get it to a position where you think that the helmet is going to be in a good position when it opens. And you can test it when the servos are on the helmet, run the code, compile it, send it to the Arduino, and then keep doing that until you think you've got the golden spot. And another thing with this is that we have two servos because one of them, I think it's servo pin uh, 2 or servo 2 that opens the helmet. That just opens the helmet, but then the servo 1 has to turn the faceplate so that it doesn't just run into the helmet. So simultaneously they'll turn at the same time so that it opens the helmet, and while it's opening, it'll rotate the faceplate so it doesn't run into the helmet, and it can actually open further because of that. So yeah, this is the code. Feel free to copy paste it. Feel free to copy it all. It's an open source code. I don't care. Like, if you want me to link it down in the comments, let me know. I can just copy and paste it into the comments or something. Yeah, but this is the code. Let's move on.
Alright, so this is the basics of what you need to get started. You have your Arduino, you have your breadboard, you have your Arduino battery connector with a 9-volt battery on it, and then you have this battery pack. It's a 4-cell battery pack full of AA's that I found on Amazon, and I can link that in the description. I can actually link all this in the description if you want. And what I did with this is I kind of stripped the wires on it so it's easier to stick into the breadboard. And then the other thing that you need are these two servos. These I am going to link in the description as well because there's specific servos set to what I designed. Then you're going to want some wires. These are the wires that I used to set it up in the... Alright, so this might look a little different from like 2 seconds ago in the video. That's because when I originally recorded this, the file actually got corrupted with the footage, and now I have to redo it about a week later after the entire video is done, and I realized that I lost the footage. So I'm just going to re-go over everything. This is the Arduino with a little 3D printed case on it. This is your breadboard. This is your 9-volt battery with the little Arduino adapter on it. 2 servos, a 4-cell battery pack with 4 AA's in there, and I'll link all this stuff in the description. And then you have your breadboard wires. So the first order of business is to connect power to this. This is your breadboard, and the way that you're going to do that is just to take your battery pack, and I actually had to strip these wires, so you're going to want to strip these wires a little bit just so that it fits in the breadboard easier. And then what you want to go ahead and do is twist the wires a little bit on both of them. And then you want to go ahead and put the black wire in that slot right there, and the red wire in that slot right there. Let's shove it in. And do the next one. Next order of business is to take whatever cord you designated as your ground, whether it's your black wire or your green wire or whatever. Mine is black wire. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to plug it into this ground pin that is on the Arduino. You can see it says it right there. All right. If that's right from the side, yep, it is. Then you're going to want to plug that into the top right of your breadboard. Okay, next up is the servos. So on each servo, you're going to see a brown wire, a red wire, and a orangish yellowish wire. So the orange wire is going to be for the code, and then the red wire is positive, brown wire is ground. So what you're going to do, plug in your black wire, put it into the ground, plug in whatever wire you have designated as positive, put it into the red wire, just like that. And then what you want to do is you want to connect the positive wire to this top left part of the breadboard right here. and then you want to plug in the black wire or the negative wire to the right side. And now you're going to repeat that for the next servo. So I'm going to take my black wire again, plug it into the brown part, take my white wire, plug it into the red part, and then I'm going to take these, I'm going to plug it into the next one down. So right here. The white's going to go into the positive top left, and then the brown is going to go into the bottom right. And when you're done, your breadboard should look something like this. I'll try to show that to the camera. Yeah. So once you're done with that, you're going to want to take your green wire or your yellow wire, whatever you have, and plug it into the code part of your servos. And then you're going to want to plug it into the pin 9 of your Arduino. But be careful, it has to be the squiggly pin 9. So it's going to be this one right here. And then you're going to take your other one, and you're going to want to plug it into your servo with the yellow cord, and then plug it into pin 10. But make sure it's this squiggly line pin 10, like you can see right there. Plug it in. All right, last step is to actually plug in your 9-volt battery into your Arduino. And if that green light lights up right there, then you know it's working. And I actually have already coded these since it's a week later. So let's go ahead and test them. You're just going to want to turn on your battery pack. And yep, it works. Now we're going to go and push the code onto the Arduino, since we haven't done that step yet in the actual video. So what you want is a USB to Arduino code that looks like, or a wire that looks like this. And you go ahead and plug it into there. And then after that is done, what you want to do is come over to your computer. Where's my mouse? There you go. Hit verify. And then that'll kind of compile the code. And then you can hit upload. Upload. It'll compile it for you. And then it says done compiling, but there's still that uploading bar right there. Done uploading. Okay. Now what you can do is you can unplug it. And now you're done. You have your 2 servos. And if you just lay them down right here, now you just need to hit the on switch on this battery pack. And boom. Now we have a independent Arduino that is moving 2 servos just like we need for the Iron Man helmet. I'd say that's pretty perfect. Alright, now let's put them inside the helmet. Alright, now it's time to put the servos on the mask. So the first thing that you're going to need is the face mount servo plate, a servo, 3 servo screws. I actually think that these came with the servo, but they didn't come with like every single one. It was more of like 2 per box for each servo. But it didn't come with 3 per servo, so you're gonna have to kind of scavenge and find those screws. But anyways, it comes in packs of 4, so you should be fine. The first step is to put the servo in there. And what you're gonna wanna do is kind of push it in a little more until it's really in there. Now that it's in there, just take the screw, put it right there. And you screw that in. Now do the same. Sorry, what I was trying to say before the video cut out again was that you want to do the same thing on the other side. And now that you have that done on the other side, you want to screw this in on the top And this is actually a really important tip, is that, oh sorry, I actually forgot something. So when you're screwing it on the top, you have to position this in the right position, because without this on there, it's just an empty motor. And that can be in any position. Like if it's in position 0, that doesn't mean that this thing on top is in position 0, unless you position it how you want it to be. So yeah, that's a little tip. But then there's this thing, which is one of the 3D printed pieces, and you want to put that on top. Kind of just stick the screw through it. And put it on here. Hold it all. And boom. There you go. And now the next step is to attach it to here, which you're going to do, with actually eyeglass screws. So let me go grab those. So I just realized I made a crucial mistake. I have the entire helmet together, but there's no helper arm right there, and I can't get a screwdriver in there. So you're going to want to add the helper arm to here first before you put this on the helmet. Okay, so this is what you're gonna need. It's just these little eyeglass repair kits, actually, that I got at my local Safeway. They're always in the checkout aisle. You can just grab one of these, or they're at Dollar Tree using the checkout aisle as well. You know, all the gum and stuff. So yeah, what you wanna do, and also some other thing that I did was I went to my garage and I just drilled some holes in here, right there and right there, because the 3D printed file didn't actually have the holes big enough. And I just found the smallest drill bit that I possibly could, and I drilled some holes in there. I'll show some pictures up on the screen soon. But yeah, basically what you want to do is get your eyeglass repair kit, and what you want to do is pop off the top, dump everything out of there, put these little rubber things back because we don't need those, and then you're going to see 4 different sizes of screws. You're going to see the biggest screw right here, and then the second biggest, and then smaller one, and an even smaller one. I think the Strat right now that I'm going to go with is the biggest screw. And you're just going to take the biggest screw and you're going to thread it by hand at first into one of these holes. You can choose which one you want, but just thread it by hand. Just kind of shove it in there and then twist it a little bit. And once you have that threaded by hand, just for the first bit, just kind of push it in there. Yeah, once you get that, then you're just going to want to screw that all the way in until it's flush with this, and I'll be back when I'm done with that. Alright, so as you can see, I got it in there just fine. And what you actually want to do is, instead of having it flush with it, you want it to just poke out a little bit just so it catches on the Iron Man faceplate. So once you put it in there, then it'll catch on the hole that's in the Iron Man faceplate. So yeah, the next step is, oh, also I made a crucial mistake. New Strat just dropped. Don't use the biggest screw, use the second biggest screw. And then that'll get in there, because the biggest screw is actually too big for the hole that I used, because I found the smallest drill bit possible, which actually happened to be smaller than that one, I guess. Smaller than that screw. So now what you want to do is, because we use the second biggest screw, and there's only one second biggest screw, you have to open up the other toolkit, or repair kit thing, and find the second biggest screw again for the other side. So that's that one. I'm just gonna put these back. There we go. And now we're gonna do the same thing, but on the other side. So you thread it in by hand, and then you get it to the point where it just catches on a nail on the other side. I'll be back when that's done. All right, now that you have both of these screws in and they're out like that a little bit, you're gonna wanna line them up with this piece on the helmet, and then just start screwing them in. And this screwdriver is so small that it just slips sometimes, so I will be right back when this is done. All right, now that you have the servo mounted there, you're all set for the faceplate. And what you're gonna wanna do is grab the other servo and attach it to this piece right here with the, it's gonna be the right side of the helmet with the servo mount plate right here. So yeah, let me go grab that servo. All right, I got my servo. Now you're gonna wanna grab the square piece with the non-rounded corners and put your head mount servo on there. You just wanna slide it in like that. Slide it back a little bit. Oh, see, I actually put mine in the wrong direction. You can tell because this circle bit should be on the left side. So I have to flip mine around. There we go. I'm just gonna push it in. And now you're gonna wanna screw these black bolts into here, or screws into here. And I'll be back when that's done. All right, I ended up having to use a different screw for the one on the right because my holes are actually not lined up in the design, but I was able to use the black screw on the left. These are the same screws. The one on the right is the same screws that I used for the faceplate servo. So wherever I told you I got those from, yeah. But now that you have this, you're gonna wanna take your helmet piece, the right side, and you're gonna wanna place this right here and just grab your screws from the eyeglass kit from earlier, and you're gonna wanna screw these in each of these holes. So we are out of the second biggest screws because it only comes with one screw in each eyeglass kit, and I bought two. So one thing you could do is either buy 3 more of those kits, which is getting rather expensive, or you can just use the third biggest screw, which is what I'm gonna use. So the second to last smallest screw. That's what I'm gonna put here and here, and then right here I'm gonna use the last smallest screw. So the smallest screw in the pack. So yeah, I'll be back when that's done. All right, it might not look like it, but you're pretty much done with the helmet. Now that you have this piece on, it's just time to put the helmet all together. Let's get right into it. All right, now that you have everything together, what you're gonna wanna do is start by taking, first of all, you want to plug these wires back in. So you want to plug the 9-pin into the helmet, and you want to plug the 10-pin into the faceplate. And then I just ran some extension wire to make it all longer so it can fit together, like if you want it not inside the helmet, because I'm not sure if it fits inside the helmet yet, but we will see later. So your first step is going to be to take the screw out of this servo and just set it to the side for now. And what you want to do is kind of take the faceplate and set it on top of here. And as you can already see, this is in the closed position, and it actually lines up pretty nicely already. So what you want to do is just turn this so you can fit a screwdriver in there, and turn that one as well, like that. And take this screw, pop it through here. And then just screw it onto the servo. And as you can see, once it starts turning, you want to hold it there, and then just turn it a little bit more. And you kind of want to push it down so that you can really screw it in there so that it gets flush with the servo. Like I said, you have to stop it from turning too much, or else you won't be able to turn the screw. And that looks pretty good to me. So the next step that you're going to do is you're going to want to add the helper arm. So let me grab some screws for that. These are the screws that I think I'm going to be using, but let me double check really quick. So I just realized I made a crucial mistake. I have the entire helmet together, but there's no helper arm right there, and I can't get a screwdriver in there. So you're going to want to add the helper arm to here first before you put this on the helmet. Alright, so those are actually not the right screws. The screws that you want are these black ones with the washer on them. And yeah, so I'm just going to add that right here to the helper arm. And if this magically appeared after the last clip, that's because earlier in the video or just now, I said that I forgot to add it to here once before I put it on the helmet. So yeah, that's the crucial part. You want to add the helper arm to the faceplate before you put the servo on the faceplate, essentially. So yeah, I'm just going to add this part to here though. Alright, that bottom helper arm is on there pretty sturdy. The next step that you want to do is add another helper arm to these two pins right here. Alright, now that you have that helper arm in, you're going to want to put the helmet together. So grab your other pieces and let's get started. Alright, so this is my right piece of the helmet, and then this is my left piece right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this little clipper part up here in, and then pull a little bit and put the bottom part in like that, and then push, and that should be clipped in, which is so much easier than soldering, am I right? And then you're going to want to take your bottom piece and you want to clip that one in as well. Let's start with the right side. Let's go like this. Boom. Boom. Go to the other side. Just like that. Right there. And right there. And although the ears are missing, this is the completed Iron Man helmet. Let's test out the servo. One thing that I forgot to add is you're actually going to want to add another helper arm right there. Alright, to add that helper arm, I actually had to go to Home Depot and buy a smaller screwdriver because mine wouldn't fit inside the helmet. But now that you have that done, your helmet is complete. With a little wire management, you can put it on your head, and then let's test out the servo real quick. Boom, open, closed, open, closed. It's working perfectly, just like in the showcase video. Again, you can adjust the code to how you want, but this is how it's open, and I'm pretty satisfied with that. So yeah, this is part 5 of how to complete, or how to make your own Iron Man helmet, and that's it. Your Iron Man helmet is done. You can wear it to Halloween, whatever you want. You can wear it to cosplay, you can wear it to Comic-Con, anything. Or you can just put it on display like I probably will. But yeah. That's everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial series, and I will see you guys in the next video.